Welcome to a profound exploration, a journey into the very architecture of your existence. This isn't merely about making choices. It's about understanding the foundational truth that your entire life is, at its core, an intricate tapestry woven from a continuous series of decisions. Think about it. Every meaningful friendship forged, every pivotal career path chosen, every misstep that haunts you, and every triumph that swells your heart with pride each began with a single, defining moment, a decision. Today, we're unlocking a powerful framework, a wisdom that promises to redefine your future forever. This isn't for those seeking fleeting fixes or instant gratification. This is a call to arms for individuals ready to reclaim sovereignty over their minds, master their emotions, steward their precious time, and cultivate a decision-making prowess reserved for the most powerful, focused, and truly unstoppable among us. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself in the twilight hours, perhaps worn down by the day, making an impulsive choice you deeply regretted the next morning? Or perhaps agreeing to a commitment purely to escape the agony of overthinking? Or buying something utterly random only to question your sanity in the stark light of day? This isn't evidence of weakness or a fundamental flaw in your character. It's a classic symptom of a pervasive yet often unrecognized phenomenon known as decision fatigue. Allow me to elaborate. What precisely is decision fatigue? Visualize your brain as an incredibly sophisticated battery, brimming with finite cognitive energy. With every choice you make, no matter how trivial, a tiny portion of that vital charge is depleted. What should I wear today? What's for breakfast? Should I respond to this text immediately or later? Just one more episode? Or should I sleep? Is checking my ex's social media really a good idea? Should I voice my opinion or remain silent? Each seemingly minor deliberation chips away at your mental stamina. And as that battery wanes, your capacity for sound judgment diminishes. You don't necessarily become bad at making decisions. Rather, your brain simply becomes exhausted, prone to defaulting to the path of least resistance or emotional impulse. Let's anchor this with a compelling real-world example. A revealing study conducted on actual judges in a court of law yielded astonishing results. It demonstrated a stark correlation. Defendants who appeared early in the day, when judges were presumably fresh and alert, enjoyed a significantly higher probability of receiving parole. Conversely, those whose cases were heard later in the day, particularly after the judges had returned from lunch, faced an almost negligible chance of freedom. The reason? Not judicial malice, but sheer mental exhaustion. Their weary brains, seeking to conserve energy, gravitated towards the safest, most straightforward option. Let's just play it safe. Deny. This right there is decision fatigue in action, subtly but relentlessly undermining your life, often without your conscious awareness. So, how do we counteract this silent saboteur? The path to consistently making sound decisions demands a pristine, uncluttered mind, a fully charged cognitive battery, a robust personal system, and a handful of potent guiding principles. Tip 1. Automate the small, focus on the big. In our hyperstimulated world, it's easy to believe that true productivity lies in making countless choices daily. But this is a cunning trap, a relentless drain on your finite mental energy. Smart individuals don't just work hard. They work smart by automating. Powerful people don't just strive. They simplify. Consider the iconic Steve Jobs, who famously wore the same black turtleneck, jeans, and sneakers every single day. Why? To consciously eliminate the trivial decision of what to wear, thereby preserving his precious mental bandwidth for groundbreaking innovation and strategic thinking. While you may not adopt a uniform, you can profoundly simplify your existence by systematically automating the minor choices that currently deplete your cognitive reserves. Imagine codifying your morning ritual. The precise order of tasks, the exact breakfast, the predetermined time for exercise. Think about pre-planning your weekly meals, curating your work wardrobe for the entire week, establishing a tranquil night routine, or setting non-negotiable study hours. Each time you consciously remove a small, inconsequential decision from your daily plate, you liberate invaluable mental energy, redirecting that power towards the monumental choices that truly shape your destiny. Envision your brain as having a finite good decision budget each day. Would you squander it on debating which cereal to eat or which shirt to don? Or would you save that precious capital for pivotal questions like, should I resign from this soul-crushing job? Is this relationship serving my highest good? Or is it time to let go? Should I seize this audacious opportunity, even if it feels terrifying? This strategic allocation of cognitive resources is precisely how you evolve into an extraordinarily powerful decision-maker. Take a moment, breathe deeply, cast a discerning eye over the landscape of your daily life. Honestly ask yourself, what decisions am I making every single day that, upon reflection, don't truly matter? Now, with newfound clarity, commit to removing them, automating them, or radically simplifying them. Because the truly transformative battles of life are never fought over your breakfast choices. They are waged over the very trajectory of your future. Tip 2. Choose long-term peace, not short-term pleasure. The vast majority of people navigate life's choices driven by an insatiable hunger for immediate gratification. They yearn to feel good right now, instinctively gravitating towards the path of least resistance. This manifests in various forms: devouring junk food, abandoning efforts prematurely, spending money they don't possess, or clinging to toxic relationships solely to stave off the uncomfortable sting of loneliness. But here lies a fundamental truth, often painfully learned. The fleeting allure of short-term pleasure invariably exacts a heavy toll, often manifesting as profound long-term pain. Conversely, the profound serenity of long-term peace frequently emerges from embracing short-term discomfort and discipline. When you opt for what feels effortlessly easy in the present moment, you are, in essence, borrowing happiness from your future self, leaving a debt that inevitably comes due. However, when you courageously choose what is undeniably right, even if challenging, you bestow a priceless gift of enduring peace upon your future self. Consider the tale of two friends, William and Benjamin, both harboring the fervent ambition of launching their own businesses. William, succumbing to the siren song of instant comfort, spends his evenings mindlessly streaming shows, endlessly scrolling through social media, and indulging in relaxation. "I'll tackle it tomorrow," he perpetually promises himself. Benjamin, however, embraces the quiet discipline of the night, dedicating his hours to intensive study, tireless work, and prudent saving, even as his friends revel in their social lives. For a few months, William basks in a deceptive sense of contentment, while Benjamin often feels the gnawing pangs of exhaustion. Yet, fast forward a mere year, and the divergence is striking. Benjamin's enterprise flourishes, a testament to his foresight, while William remains trapped in the wistful echo of someday. This is the stark, undeniable chasm between the fleeting embrace of pleasure now and the profound fulfillment of peace later. Therefore, before any significant decision casts its shadow upon you, pause and pose this crucial question. Will this choice grant me genuine peace a year from now, or will it simply provide ephemeral pleasure tonight? If the answer resonates with peace, then you are unequivocally on the right path. If it promises only superficial pleasure, then it is, without doubt, a cleverly disguised trap. For authentic, lasting peace will always, without exception, transcend the fleeting intoxication of temporary pleasure. Tip 3. Use the October 10th 10 rule before every big decision. This remarkably simple yet extraordinarily powerful rule stands as an impregnable shield against the often destructive force of emotional impulsivity. safeguarding you for the rest of your life. Whenever you find yourself grappling with a weighty decision, consciously hit the pause button and engage with 3 penetrating questions. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this in 10 months? How will I feel about this in 10 years? In the immediate aftermath of your choice, the first 10 minutes, your emotions are likely still raging, clouding your judgment. But allow 10 months to pass, and that initial emotional storm will have largely dissipated, replaced by a nascent clarity. Extend your gaze to 10 years, and only the unvarnished, enduring consequences of your decision will remain, stark and undeniable. This rule compels you to zoom out, transcending the immediate turmoil to perceive the expansive, long-term implications. Imagine a scenario. You're seething with anger at your dearest friend, an intense urge to unleash a scathing message consuming you. But if you were to halt, breathe, and apply the October 10th 10 rule, a different reality would emerge. In 10 minutes, you might feel a quiet sense of triumph for having resisted the impulsive urge to react. In 10 months, your treasured friendship would likely be intact, spared the irreparable damage of a heated exchange. In 10 years, you would undoubtedly thank your past self for the wisdom of staying calm, for prioritizing connection over temporary venting. This is the profound power of psychological distance. It deftly separates raw emotion from profound wisdom. So, the next time you feel the relentless pressure to act precipitously, harness the October 10th 10 rule. It possesses an almost alchemical ability to transmute chaos into clarity, offering you a glimpse of your future before you inadvertently dismantle it. Tip 4. Never make decisions when you're tired, emotional, or late at night. Let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Most people don't succumb to poor decisions because they lack intelligence or inherent capability. They falter because they are simply operating under compromised conditions. Fatigued, emotionally overwhelmed, stressed, lost in a labyrinth of overthinking, or, crucially, in the dead of night. You don't require an infallible, perfect brain to make brilliant decisions. You merely need to select the opportune moment. And tragically, most people consistently choose the wrong one. Let's dissect this further. Envision your brain as a smartphone. When its battery icon glows at a robust 100%, it operates with lightning speed, pinpoint focus, and crystalline clarity. But as that charge plummets below 10%, it begins to stutter, lag, eventually freezing and shutting down. This exact phenomenon mirrors the intricate workings of your mind. Every minuscule decision throughout your day, what to eat, how to formulate a reply, which attire to choose, whether to scroll endlessly or finally succumb to sleep, relentlessly drains your mental battery. So, when the momentous occasion finally arrives to confront a truly significant choice, should I abandon this unfulfilling job? Or can I truly forgive them? Your mental battery is already dangerously depleted, teetering on the brink of collapse. And what unfolds when the battery is dead? You invariably default to emotional reasoning, abandoning the steady compass of wisdom. You say yes when every fiber of your being screams no. You utter no when wait is the only sensible response. Panic grips you. You fracture. You flee. You settle for less. You lash out. You surrender. And the most insidious part? You remain utterly oblivious to the folly until the harsh light of the following morning. There's a compelling reason why tears flow more freely at night, why long, emotionally charged messages are frantically composed at 2 a.m., why the entire fabric of one's life, dreams, or relationships can feel utterly doomed after midnight. It's not because these despairing thoughts hold any inherent truth. It's because the brain operating in the dead of night is not your fully functional, rational brain. It's a weary, fog-shrouded, emotionally vulnerable entity. Have you ever awoken after making a colossal decision in the darkness, only to exclaim in disbelief, What in the world was I thinking? That visceral shock embodies the stark dichotomy between a mind crippled by fatigue and one refreshed and ready. So, what strategy should you deploy when your emotions are soaring? Your body is bone-tired, your heart is pounding like a drum, and your mind is shrouded in a dense fog. Do nothing. Pause. Breathe deeply. Seek the restorative embrace of sleep. Allow the internal storm to pass. Whisper this potent affirmation to yourself. I will not make any significant decisions tonight. I will decide in the morning when my mind is clear, my spirit is calm, and my inner strength is fully restored. This singular rule possesses the power to safeguard your most cherished relationships, your profound inner peace, your professional reputation, your most ambitious goals, and indeed, your entire future. Imagine you're engulfed in a furious argument with someone dear to you, your partner, your best friend, your boss. The overwhelming urge to dispatch a lengthy, emotionally charged message, to escalate the conflict, to declare "I'm done," feels irresistibly compelling in that heated moment. But that moment is a mirage, devoid of true clarity. It's a toxic cocktail of decision fatigue, raw emotion, and the deceptive cloak of nighttime. You retreat to bed, consumed by anger. Yet, upon awakening the following morning, you reread that unsent message. Suddenly, everything shifts. Your heart feels lighter. Your mind is calmer. A wave of profound relief washes over you. Thank goodness I didn't send that. This is the transformative power of patient waiting. Never implicitly trust your thoughts when your physical being is exhausted. Never fully trust your feelings when your mind is a maelstrom of noise. Never attempt to decide when the world outside and within feels dark. Wait for the sun. For the decision you courageously postpone today might very well be the one that salvages your future tomorrow. Tip 5. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Let me deliver a stark, uncompromising truth. Countless individuals irrevocably damage the fabric of their lives within a mere 5 minutes, simply because they lacked the capacity to govern their surging emotions. A man shouts a vile accusation he can never truly retract. A woman impulsively abandons the very job she desperately needs. A teenager, consumed by anger, blocks a parent from their life. A friend, in the throes of a heated argument, deletes years of cherished memories. A person incinerates their lifelong dream, simply because they felt directionless for a few fleeting days. This isn't born of inherent malevolence, but rather from the tragic misstep of making a permanent, life-altering decision during the volatile tempest of a temporary emotion. Let me be unequivocally clear. You are granted full permission to experience the entire spectrum of human emotion. Anger, fear, profound sadness, baffling confusion, gnawing loneliness, suffocating frustration, even incandescent rage. All of it is intrinsically human. All of it is acceptable. But here is the inviolable rule. Feel everything. Decide nothing. Why? Because emotions are akin to powerful storms. They gather, they rage with terrifying intensity, they buffet you, and then, inevitably, they dissipate and leave. But if you attempt to construct something enduring during such a storm, a definitive decision, a pivotal choice, an unforgivable message, a radical life move, it will forever lack stability, destined to crumble. Imagine you share a deep, loving bond with a partner. Your connection is strong, resilient. But one day, a brutal argument erupts. In the heat of anger, you unleash words you don't truly mean. You slam the door, declare it's over, block them from your life. You weep, feeling a strange mix of raw power and profound hurt. 2 weeks later, you sit alone, a heavy ache in your heart. The fiery emotion has long since vanished, but the devastating damage remains. You are no longer angry. You are consumed by an agonizing regret. All of this could have been avoided had you adhered to just one simple, yet profoundly difficult rule. Never make a forever decision during a temporary emotion. Or perhaps you've toiled diligently in a job, building a career with painstaking effort. You're frustrated, overworked, underpaid. One day, your boss utters a dismissive remark that pushes you past your breaking point. In a surge of indignation, you declare, "I quit." You have no contingency plan, no emergency savings. You storm out, and for a fleeting moment, it feels exhilaratingly liberating. But weeks later, the stark reality descends. Now you feel foolish, terrified, utterly lost. Why? Because that monumental decision was forged in the crucible of an emotional high, utterly devoid of logical thought. When the symphony of emotion plays its loudest, sit absolutely still. When your heart quakes with intensity, write it down. Do not act. When the world feels irrevocably broken, seek the sanctuary of sleep. When the urge to react is overwhelming, choose to respond by waiting. Embrace this rule as an absolute command. If I am experiencing strong emotions, I will not trust my brain. I will wait 24 hours. I will allow my feelings to settle. I will permit my logic to return. Then I will decide. 1 second of deliberate silence can spare you a decade of crushing regret. 1 night of restorative sleep can safeguard your entire future. 1 single decision, forged with profound wisdom, possesses the power to transmute your entire life. Therefore, do not allow a fleeting mood to dictate the fate of your destiny. Your emotions are not your adversary, but they are most certainly not your infallible compass either. Choose clarity over chaos. Choose patience over panic. Choose a life thoughtfully constructed, not impulsively triggered. Tip 6. Flip the decision. Pretend it's someone else's problem. Have you ever observed a peculiar phenomenon? When you're ensnared in your own problem, confusion reigns supreme, and the path forward appears shrouded in impenetrable fog. Yet, when a friend presents you with their identical dilemma, suddenly, with striking clarity, you know precisely what they ought to do. Why does this remarkable shift occur? Because when you are emotionally embedded within a problem, your perspective is inherently clouded by personal feelings, fears, and biases. But when you are positioned outside the problem, your vision becomes remarkably clear, unencumbered by emotional turbulence. This fundamental psychological insight forms the bedrock of one of the most potent tools in the decision-maker's arsenal: the art of flipping the situation. Let's say you're trapped in a seemingly intractable dilemma. You're agonizing over whether to resign from your current job. You're wrestling with doubts about the compatibility of your romantic partner. You're paralyzed by indecision regarding a potentially life-changing opportunity. You're emotionally drained, gripped by fear, and terrified of making the wrong choice. In that precise moment of internal turmoil, instead of attempting to think like you, imagine your dearest friend approaches you and says, "Hey, I'm stuck in this exact same predicament. What's your advice?" Suddenly, the confusion vanishes. Your brain assumes a calm, analytical posture. Your advice flows with crystalline clarity. Your heart feels imbued with undeniable wisdom. Why? Because when the raw emotion isn't yours, you possess the capacity to perceive the unvarnished truth. Consider this vivid illustration. Your younger sister confides in you, her voice trembling. "I'm with a guy who constantly lies to me, disappears for days without explanation, but I love him. I just don't know what to do." What counsel would you impart to her? You would, without a flicker of hesitation or confusion, instantly declare, "Leave him. You deserve so much better than this. True love isn't meant to inflict such pain." You would say it with absolute conviction. Now, juxtapose this with finding yourself in that exact same relationship. Yet, you endlessly doubt, wait, forgive, hope, and delay the inevitable. Why? Because your own emotions act as powerful blinders. But when it was your sister's problem, you discerned the unequivocal answer in mere seconds. From this moment forward, whenever you find yourself paralyzed by indecision and unable to discern the right path, consciously pretend that someone you deeply cherish is confronting this identical situation. Imagine they are earnestly seeking your guidance. Whatever wise, clear, and loving advice you would bestow upon them is, without question, the truth you yourself desperately need to hear. This isn't magic. It's not a deceptive trick. It is simply the strategic creation of emotional distance from your own predicament. And that distance invariably bestows profound wisdom. When your internal vision is obscured, deliberately alter your perspective. When your feelings scream loudest, listen to the quiet voice of logic, channeled through the imagined narrative of someone else. The sagacious advice you so readily offer to others is, more often than not, the very truth you are too afraid to accept within yourself. So, the next time your heart is tumultuous and your head is lost in a fog, flip the question. Grant yourself the same empathy, clarity, and truth you would unstintingly give to your best friend. That, my friend, is the decision you were so desperately seeking. Tip 7. Create your personal rule and filter every decision through it. Here lies the ultimate, most profoundly impactful tip of all. If you commit to integrating this principle into the very fabric of your life, you will never again feel truly lost or rudderless. While you cannot dictate the whims of the world, nor control every circumstance, every opportunity, or every individual, you possess absolute sovereignty over how you make decisions. This power is unlocked by meticulously crafting your own life rule, your unwavering non-negotiables. These are your foundational standards, your inviolable values, your unwavering moral compass, your invisible but impenetrable shield. Once articulated, you will rigorously filter every single decision, large or small, through this personal constitution. Ask yourself this pivotal question: what are the 3 most fundamental things I will absolutely never compromise on in my life, under any circumstance? Perhaps your tenets are: 1. I will only choose what genuinely gives me long-term peace. I will never undertake anything that actively undermines or destroys my mental health. I will always uphold honesty and integrity, even when the truth is difficult or inconvenient. Now, with these sacred tenets in hand, every time you are confronted with a job offer, a relationship prospect, a significant risk, or a new opportunity, you no longer succumb to emotional whim. Instead, you calmly and methodically ask, does this unequivocally pass my rule? If the answer is a resounding yes to all 3 of your non-negotiables, you move forward with unshakable confidence, free from doubt. If the answer is no to even one of them, you resolutely walk away. No hesitation, no gnavim regret, no paralisem confusion. This framework eliminates decision fatigue, liberating you from the endless loop of seeking a dozen opinions, from the torment of overthinking, and from the insidious trap of saying yes to things that slowly erode your life. You cease to follow the fickle crowd. Instead, you steadfastly follow your core values. And individuals who live by such an internal compass are rare and powerful. They are serene, unstoppable, hyper-focused, and deeply respected. They do not chase every fleeting opportunity, nor do they fear missing out, because they possess an unshakable understanding of who they are. They only engage with that which resonates authentically with their deepest self. Consider a compelling job offer. The salary is exorbitant, the title prestigious. However, it demands that you work for an individual notorious for dishonesty, manipulation, and draining the very soul from their employees. Emotionally, the offer feels like a golden ticket. But when you rigorously apply your personal rule, the truth is laid bare. It offers no long-term peace, it directly damages your mental well-being, and it flagrantly violates your core values of integrity. You walk away, and guess what? A year later, you will swell with pride for that courageous decision, for you refused to barter your inner peace for mere paper, or trade your truth for temporary rewards. You chose strength. You chose clarity. You chose yourself. When the world attempts to pull you in a myriad of confusing directions, allow your personal rule to be your unwavering guide. When everyone around you is blindly chasing fleeting notions of success, let your rule stand as the bulwark protecting your sacred peace. When your heart is muddled and confused, let your rule gently remind you of who you truly are at your core. Write your rule down, commit it to memory, use it religiously, and you will never again make a decision you live to regret. Because truly strong people do not bow to external pressure. They steadfastly follow their own personal compass. Tip 8. Say no fast so you can say yes with power. Allow me to share a profound truth. You don't necessarily need more options in life. What you truly need is more clarity. Most people find themselves constantly agreeing to commitments because they fear disappointing others, succumb to the pressure of people-pleasing, are haunted by the fear of missing out, FOMO, dread appearing rude, or are paralyzed by the apprehension of losing potential opportunities. But here is the painful, unavoidable reality. Every weak, unenthusiastic yes you utter invariably sows the seeds of potent regret. When you say yes too readily, you find yourself entangled in endeavors you don't genuinely believe in. You dedicate precious time to individuals who relentlessly drain your energy. You shoulder workloads that inevitably lead to burnout. You make promises that systematically dismantle your inner peace. You fill your days with a cacophony of noise, leaving no sacred space for the things that truly matter to your soul. Imagine your cousin extends an invitation to a weekend party. You are utterly exhausted. A crucial exam looms. You're significantly behind on your personal goals. Yet, a crushing wave of guilt washes over you. So, against your better judgment, you say yes. You attend. You feel utterly inauthentic, forcing smiles when all you crave is rest. You return home more depleted, further behind, and deeply frustrated. You didn't say yes because it was the right choice for you. You said yes because you simply lacked the fortitude to say no. For powerful decision-makers, the dictum is clear. If it's not an unequivocal, resounding yes, then it is, without a doubt, a clear no. They don't offer lengthy explanations. They don't spiral into overthinking. They guard their time, their vital energy, and their mental bandwidth like invaluable treasure. And precisely because of this disciplined selectivity, when a truly aligned, transformative opportunity finally presents itself, they possess an abundance of energy, razor-sharp focus, and profound presence to seize it with full force. Saying no is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of profound responsibility. It signifies that you deeply respect your personal boundaries. You honor your irreplaceable time. You revere your life's mission. It is infinitely better to articulate a firm no in the present moment than to live with the agonizing lament of, I regret it later. The next time someone makes a request, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I inherently saying no to? Because every yes carries with it an implicit no to something else: your much-needed rest, your precious health, your personal goals, your core priorities, your sacred mental space. Individuals who indiscriminately say yes to everything often end up feeling like they have nothing meaningful left. Those who bravely say no to what is misaligned or detrimental consciously create the expansive space required for the life they truly desire. So, From this day forward, do not say yes to guilt. Do not say yes to external pressure. Do not say yes merely to avoid conflict. Say yes only when your soul resonates with the powerful affirmation. This perfectly aligns with the person I aspire to become. Tip 9. Your life is the result of the last 5 big decisions. Own them. This final, electrifying truth possesses the power to awaken people like a bolt of lightning. So many individuals drift through life feeling a profound sense of helplessness, exclaiming, "I don't know how I ended up here. Everything feels so chaotic. My life just happened to me." But here is the brutal, empowering truth. Your life didn't merely happen. It was meticulously constructed, decision by conscious decision. You are, in this very moment, living within the intricate, undeniable tapestry woven from the consequences of your last 5 truly significant choices. Let us pause now. Take a moment for deep, honest introspection. What were the 5 most pivotal decisions you have made in your life recently? Perhaps it was the partner you chose to deeply love or profoundly trust, the career opportunity you wholeheartedly embraced, the city you decided to call home, the habit you bravely initiated or decisively abandoned, the ambitious goal you relentlessly pursued or inexplicably relinquished, the people you permitted to remain in your inner circle or those you courageously removed. Now cast an objective gaze upon your life today. Your profound inner peace, your persistent pains, your incremental progress, all are inextricably linked to those 5 pivotal decisions. This is not inherently bad news. On the contrary, it is a wellspring of immense power. Because if your past decisions meticulously constructed your current life, then, with equal certainty, your next 5 decisions possess the extraordinary power to rebuild, reshape, and redefine it completely. This realization means you do not require external permission. You do not need to passively wait for circumstances to change. You are not condemned to remain perpetually stuck. You simply need to decide differently. Consider the hypothetical individual, Henry. 3 years ago, he made the choice to languish in a job he loathed. He continued dating someone who was consistently dishonest. He ceased his regular gym routine. He allowed himself to become ensnared in social media for 5 hours daily. He said no to a genuine chance to finally launch his own passion project. Today, Henry feels utterly lost and unfulfilled. But he doesn't realize that his predicament isn't the cruel hand of fate or bad luck. It is the cumulative outcome of 5 specific decisions. But what if, today, Henry chooses to bravely resign from that soul-crushing job, to decisively sever the wrong relationship, to commit to a brisk walk every single morning, to uninstall all distracting applications from his devices, to finally enroll in that online course he's been procrastinating on? Then, 3 years from now, his entire life will be miraculously transformed. This is the profound, empowering magic of decision ownership. Most people navigate life by accident, drifting with the current of the crowd. They chase fleeting comfort. They perpetually wait for someday, yet someday never truly arrives. If your aspiration is to cultivate a life imbued with profound peace, undeniable power, and genuine pride, then you must cultivate the courage to make decisions on purpose. Every yes you utter, every no you proclaim, every conscious choice you make upon waking each morning, that is you, actively and deliberately, designing your future. Your life is not an arbitrary product of luck. It is a meticulous construction of choice. Your current pain was born of a decision. Your future peace can be, too. Your past regret emerged from a choice. So, too, will your boundless freedom. From today, cease your running. Look unflinchingly at your last 5 pivotal choices. Own them. Learn from them. Then, with newfound clarity and resolve, begin to forge the next 5. Then, Declare this truth to yourself with unwavering conviction. My next 5 decisions will be powerful, clean, and unequivocally mine, because these next 5 choices aren't just isolated moments. They are the architects of your next 5 years. Choose wisely with every fiber of your being. Tip 10. Ask this powerful question. What would future me thank me for? Let me reveal a profound truth most people never consider. Every single decision you forge today isn't merely a fleeting action. It's either a carefully wrapped gift or a silently accumulating burden for the person you are destined to become tomorrow. Your future self, a silent observer in the theater of your life, is perpetually watching. They're watching what fuels your body, what you consume with intention or apathy. They're watching who you entrust with your vulnerabilities, who you allow into the sacred space of your inner circle. They're watching what opportunities, big or small, you say yes to, and what boundaries you bravely set with a firm no. They're watching how you meticulously or carelessly allocate the finite currency of your time. And ultimately, they are watching with bated breath who you are becoming, brick by brick, choice by choice. And here lies the deep, often uncomfortable truth. The lingering pain you might feel today, that gnawing sense of regret or stagnation, doesn't solely emanate from the past. It originates, more often than not, from the you who, in a moment of short-sightedness, didn't bother to consider the future. This is the default mode for most people when making choices. I feel bored, so I'll just scroll endlessly. I feel lonely, so I'll send that text to my ex, seeking fleeting familiarity. I feel lazy, so I'll conveniently skip the gym, promising myself tomorrow. I feel sad, so I'll reach for comfort in excess food. I feel pressured, so I'll just say yes to avoid immediate discomfort. In these moments, right now is a demanding tyrant, utterly indifferent to the long-term consequences. It craves instant gratification, a quick fix for discomfort. But inevitably, when tomorrow dawns, you find yourself laboring under the unseen, yet palpable weight of today's impulsive decision. That's precisely why this tip holds such transformative power. Before you commit to anything, before you move a single muscle, pause and sincerely ask, will future me thank me for this, or will they silently, or perhaps vocally, resent me for it? Imagine yourself at a crossroads. You're torn between surrendering an entire evening to the mindless allure of random videos or dedicating that precious time to studying for a crucial exam looming on the horizon. The comfort-seeking, lazy part of your brain whispers persuasively, just relax, enjoy. You've earned a break after a long, grueling day. But this is your moment to intervene. Take a deep breath and then consciously pause. Project yourself forward. Ask with genuine curiosity and a touch of urgency, what would the future me, the one who will be sitting in that sterile exam hall, heart pounding, pen poised, truly want me to do tonight? That version of you, wiser from experience, burdened by potential regret or buoyed by preparedness, will plead with an almost desperate intensity. Please prepare. Please don't let me down. Please, for the love of everything, don't betray me again with your procrastination. Please do the right thing, the hard thing, the necessary thing. Please think of me, your future self, who will bear the consequences of this very moment. And if you honor that plea, if you muster the courage to do the right thing when it matters most, your future self will undoubtedly sit in that exam, a quiet smile playing on their lips, whispering a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for not succumbing to weakness when it truly counted. Here's the beautiful, almost mystical truth. Your future self already possesses the perfect clarity to know the right decision. Why? Because that evolved version of you has already lived through the potential outcomes. They've already felt the bitter sting of regret, experienced the cascading ripple of consequences, savored the sweet taste of hard-won rewards, or reveled in the boundless freedom that thoughtful choices bring. So, when you consciously connect with that wiser, more experienced version of yourself, the path forward becomes strikingly clear. This isn't about succumbing to fear. No, this is about cultivating radical self-love. It's about loving yourself deeply enough to actively protect, nurture, and empower the person you are becoming. Every single time you find yourself paralyzed by indecision, try this remarkably simple yet profoundly effective exercise. Close your eyes. Allow your imagination to soar 6 months into the future. Picture that future you vividly. See them looking back at you, perhaps with gratitude, perhaps with a plea. Then, with deep sincerity, ask, what would that future version of me beg me to do right now, in this very moment? And once you receive that answer, heed it. Act on it. Don't betray them. Don't inflict unnecessary hurt upon them. Don't weaken their potential with your present complacency. Because that future person is you, and they are utterly counting on the integrity and wisdom of your decision today. You don't just make choices in a vacuum. You actively forge consequences. You don't merely pick what feels momentarily easy. You meticulously build the reality you will ultimately live within. So, the next time confusion clouds your mind, declare it aloud with unwavering conviction. I don't live for right now. I live for who I'm becoming. That single, powerful sentence holds the potential to rewrite the entire narrative of your future. Tip 11. When in doubt, choose growth over comfort. Let me ask you something profoundly honest, something that might strike a chord of recognition. How many countless times have you instinctively recoiled from an opportunity, said a definitive no to something deep down you instinctively knew was genuinely good for you? And why? Simply because it provoked a flicker of fear, because it nudged you out of your familiar ease, because it demanded you stretch beyond your perceived limits, or because it dared to challenge the very core of your established identity. That, my friend, is the subtle, seductive trap of comfort. Comfort, in carefully measured doses, can be a beautiful, restorative thing. It offers moments of respite, of peace. But when you begin to habitually construct your decisions solely around the desire to feel perpetually safe, to avoid any ripple of discomfort, that's when your life invariably begins to shrink. You find yourself tethered to a soul-crushing job you despise. You cling to relationships with individuals who dim your light instead of amplifying it. You systematically sidestep challenges that would hone your resilience. You rigidly avoid taking calculated risks that could unlock unforeseen potential. You become a fierce, often subconscious, protector of your fragile ego. You perpetually delay the inevitable, yet vital process of growth. And slowly, imperceptibly, you evolve into a willing prisoner within the gilded cage of your own comfort zone. Here's the crucial litmus test. If a decision makes you feel a knot of nervousness in your stomach, but simultaneously ignites a spark of genuine excitement, makes you feel stretched to your edges, and electrifies you with a sense of being truly alive, that unequivocally is the right decision. That is the challenging, yet ultimately liberating path of growth. However, if a decision wraps you in a blanket of false safety, whispers promises of ease, induces a feeling of laziness, and leaves you feeling utterly stuck, that's comfort's insidious voice talking. And comfort, in its silent, deceptive way, will relentlessly steal your greatness. Consider this scenario. You're presented with the exhilarating, yet terrifying, chance to speak on a large stage, to share your unique message, or perhaps to finally post your very first video online, revealing a part of yourself to the world. A tidal wave of terror washes over you. Your brain, the primal protector of the known, instantly floods you with questions. But if I stumble, if I fail, what will people whisper about me? What if I'm simply not good enough, not polished enough? That precisely is comfort valiantly attempting to shield your past identity, to keep you small and familiar. But listen closely. Your magnificent future identity is patiently waiting, vibrant and eager, on the other side of that very fear. So, ask yourself, with laser-like focus, will this experience grow me? If the answer resonates with a resounding yes, then that, my friend, is your definitive decision. Growth, by its very nature, always feels daunting, even terrifying, before it blossoms into an undeniable sense of power and accomplishment. That's the inherent, unyielding architecture of progress. Growth choices are inherently hard because they demand immense courage. They directly threaten your old, comfortable self, compelling you to shed outmoded versions. They dismantle the elaborate fortresses of your excuses. They often reshape your relationships, forcing you to elevate your connections. They compel you to level up, to rise to new heights you once thought impossible. But, crucially, they are also the singular, undeniable pathway to becoming the extraordinary person you were unequivocally born to be. If you consistently opt for only what's easy, you risk living the same year with the same stagnant experiences 75 times over, and then mistakenly calling it a life. Whenever you find yourself ensnared in indecision, ask this clarifying question. Does this decision make me grow, or does it keep me small and confined? If the answer unequivocally points to growth, then you must do it. Do it even if it feels overwhelmingly hard. Do it even if you genuinely believe you're not entirely ready. Do it even if every fiber of your being screams to run away, to retreat to safety. Because growth isn't just an option. It is the wide, open doorway to your most authentic and expansive future. Do not chase the illusion of comfort. Instead, chase profound change. Do not fear the invigorating stretch that pushes your boundaries. Instead, fear the suffocating standstill, the stagnation that steals your vibrancy. Do not remain small and insignificant just because it feels warm and familiar. The right decision, the truly transformative one, is almost invariably the harder one. But, in return, it is also the one that meticulously sculpts you into a stronger, wiser, bolder, and infinitely freer version of yourself. So, from this moment forward, every single time you feel the prickle of fear, pause and ask yourself, am I afraid, or am I growing? Then, with newfound conviction, step forward and watch your entire life beautifully, irrevocably change. Tip 12. Slow down when it feels rushed. Speed up when it feels right. Let's delve into something that, with chilling regularity, silently undermines and ultimately ruins countless lives. It's not a consequence of inherent weakness, nor a result of foolishness, but rather the devastating outcome of being relentlessly rushed. You've undoubtedly experienced this unsettling sensation before, haven't you? That insistent, almost frantic internal or external chorus. Hurry! You must take this offer now. If you don't say yes in this very instant, it's gone forever, an opportunity lost. Everyone is watching your move. Decide quickly, before judgment sets in. The clock is ticking mercilessly. Don't miss your one, sole chance. This precisely is the insidious mechanism by which people become ensnared, trapped in circumstances they later desperately wish to escape. This is how they impulsively agree to debilitating jobs, oppressive loans, toxic relationships, disastrous investments, and situations that ultimately corrode their very spirit. They didn't choose from a place of serene introspection or calm self-assurance. They chose, instead, from a place of relentless, crushing pressure. The truly right decision, the one aligned with your highest good, is never born from a whirlwind of panic. It emerges, always, from a state of grounded presence. If you sense someone actively rushing you, pushing you beyond your natural rhythm, then pause. If your mind is a chaotic race of anxious thoughts, consciously take a deep, centering breath. If the world, with its countless demands, screams now or never, then with quiet defiance, choose never. Unless, and this is the crucial caveat, your heart responds with a profound, unshakable yes that is imbued with an absolute calm. Because the swiftest, most guaranteed pathway to future regret is to utter yes too hastily, without genuine conviction. Consider this common scenario. You're presented with a seemingly dazzling partnership opportunity in a burgeoning business. The offer, at first glance, appears incredibly tempting, and a wave of natural excitement washes over you. But then, the caveat, you absolutely must decide today. They insist. Otherwise, we'll extend the offer to someone else. Your heart begins to pound a frantic rhythm against your ribs. Every instinct screams to seize the opportunity to say yes immediately. Yet, deep within you, an almost imperceptible flutter of unease arises. Something, a subtle whisper, feels distinctly off. That, my friend, is your inner wisdom, your profound intuition, gently yet firmly urging you to slow down, to ask more probing questions, to think with deeper clarity and consideration. But if you unwisely silence that inner voice, if you ignore that crucial signal and utter a rushed yes, you might awaken a year later, trapped and entangled in a full-blown financial or emotional disaster. So, here is the unbreakable rule, etched in the wisdom of experience. If it feels coerced, forced, or pressured, you must pause. If it feels unequivocally peaceful, aligned, and right, then proceed with quiet confidence. Think of it this way. Fire is fast, loud, intensely hot, and dangerously unpredictable. Water, by contrast, is calm, transparently clear, steadily flowing, and possesses an incredible quiet power to erode even mountains. Strive to make your decisions like water. When a situation feels rushed, understand that your mind is incapable of thinking with true clarity. When a decision settles into your spirit with profound peace, know that your deepest truth is speaking. When you detect the slightest hint of manipulation, recognize it for what it is, a cleverly disguised trap. When a choice feels perfectly aligned with your core values and aspirations, then you know it is profoundly right. Courageously take your time when the world, or other people, desperately want you to go fast. And conversely, when your soul, your deepest knowing, whispers, "This is absolutely right," then do not, for a single moment, delay. Not every opportunity that arrives swiftly is a genuinely good one, and not every decision made with thoughtful consideration is a sign of weakness. Slow down deliberately when things feel pushed or compelled, and speed up with unwavering conviction when your spirit, your intuition, gives you the undeniable signal to go. Your impeccable timing will ultimately protect your destiny. Tip 13. Remove options that shouldn't even be there. This particular tip, when fully embraced, is nothing short of a secret weapon in the arsenal of intelligent decision-making. It's not merely about the conventional act of choosing between option A or option B, as if those are your only two predetermined fates. It's about cultivating the profound awareness that, sometimes, the single best decision you can make is to actively remove both options entirely from your consideration. Most people remain trapped in a perpetual state of confusion and unhappiness precisely because they are forcing themselves to choose between two demonstrably bad options. Should I stay in this soul-crushing, toxic job, or face the terrifying uncertainty of unemployment? Should I marry this person I clearly don't love, simply to avoid the perceived stigma of being alone forever? Should I cheat a little, compromise my integrity, just to win, or remain perpetually poor by my own standards? Should I lie to protect myself from immediate repercussions, or risk losing everything by telling the difficult truth. They suffer needlessly because they fail to grasp a fundamental truth. There is always a third option. Always. It is often the one your heart is too afraid, too weary, or too conditioned to even dare imagine. Sometimes, the most courageous and right decision is to simply walk away from both presented choices. To consciously choose to wait, to patiently build a better path, one crafted by your own hands and vision. To steadfastly raise your standards, refusing to settle for anything less than what truly resonates with your spirit. To completely remove the external or internal pressure that insists you must choose now. To declare with empowering authority, "These are simply not my only two choices. I do not owe anyone an answer that is predicated upon a flawed, limiting question." Imagine, for instance, a woman named Amelia. She has endured a deeply painful, draining relationship for years. Intellectually, she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is profoundly wrong for her. Her partner consistently lies, attempts to control every aspect of her life, and systematically drains her energy until she feels like an empty shell. But in her anguish, she keeps asking herself the same broken, circular question. Should I stay and continue to be profoundly unhappy, or should I leave and face the terrifying prospect of being alone forever? Amelia is stuck, not because there isn't a viable solution, but precisely because her foundational question is fundamentally flawed. She desperately needs to realize that there is a vastly different third path. A path that involves prioritizing herself, to heal from past wounds, to embark on a journey of profound personal growth, to meticulously rebuild her self-worth and independence, and then, one day, in her own time, to meet someone who truly sees her, values her, and loves her unconditionally. That third option isn't an instant fix. It requires patience, resilience, and courage, but it is undeniably real, profoundly empowering, and truly liberating. The other two are merely psychological traps, cunningly constructed by fear and limiting beliefs. Your brain, for all its complexity, can only make decisions based on the options it is presented with. If all you perceive are two dilapidated, undesirable doors, you will inevitably walk through one, convinced that it is the only possible egress. So here is the powerful paradigm-shifting principle. If no available option offers you genuine peace, then do not choose. Do not force yourself. Instead, pause, wait, learn, grow. Actively create a new, better option that truly serves your highest good. That isn't a sign of weakness or indecisiveness. That, my friend, is a profound act of mastery. Before you make any significant choice, ask yourself these deeply clarifying questions. Am I merely choosing between one fear and another fear, entrapped by scarcity? What would I do truly if I wasn't governed by fear, if courage was my default? What option would I choose if I genuinely believed I deserved better, that I was worthy of more? Is this particular choice making me smaller, more constrained, or is it paving the way for me to become freer, more expansive? Sometimes, the truest path forward isn't about meticulously picking the better of two mediocre choices. It's about unequivocally removing the fundamentally wrong ones altogether. Stop forcing yourself to choose between different shades of stress and sadness. You are inherently allowed to declare, with unwavering conviction, "This isn't the life I envision. This isn't the path I choose. I will wait. I will actively build something better. I will choose again on my own terms." Sometimes, the most powerful, liberating decision you can ever make is to simply say, "None of the above," and then boldly walk toward a future only you, with your unique vision and courage, can truly see and manifest. So now, with this newfound wisdom, you understand a fundamental truth. Your life is not passively built by random chance, nor is it sculpted by fleeting luck. nor is it merely conjured by ephemeral dreams. Your life, in its vibrant entirety, is meticulously built by decisions. Tiny, often silent, invisible decisions made in moments when no one else is watching. Decisions forged when you are gripped by fear. Decisions made when you are utterly exhausted. Decisions taken when you are teetering on the brink of giving up. But every single time you choose peace over panic, every time you prioritize growth over stagnant comfort, every time you embrace truth over societal pressure, every time you align with purpose over fleeting pleasure, you don't just make a better decision. You fundamentally become a better person. So, from today, cease your waiting. Stop your avoiding. End your running. Decide. Decide with unwavering clarity. Decide with audacious courage. Decide with profound love for your future self. Because one powerful, truth-aligned decision, made with your whole heart, possesses the extraordinary capacity to rewrite your entire story. And if this message, this exploration, resonated deeply with you, if it caused you to pause and reflect, if it spoke directly to the core of your soul, then don't merely watch it. Own it. Let this be the precise moment you look into your own eyes and declare, "From today, I live with profound intention. I consciously choose my own path. I fiercely protect my inner peace." Subscribe to this channel to receive more truth, to feel built up and encouraged, to be reminded, with gentle yet firm insistence, that your life is still profoundly yours to shape. Hit that subscribe button, join this community. Leave a comment below sharing how this message impacted you. Share this with someone you know who is currently stuck in the swirling vortex of confusion, someone who desperately needs this clarity right now. Because together, we're not just creating content. We are actively forging clarity. We are catalyzing change. We are meticulously making the new, most magnificent version of you. And it all, beautifully and powerfully, starts with one profound decision.